don't walk past that eggplant at the grocery store because I'm about to show you my favorite eggplant recipe. So what you're going to want to start with is obviously your eggplant. You're going to take your sharpest serrated knife and you're going to cut off the end, just like so, because nobody wants to eat that. Now you're going to want to cut this all into about 1/4 inch slices. Just like so. I like to serrated because it seems to just cut a lot better for me personally. And this is about as thick as you want them. You don't want them too thin or too thick. Too thick, they'll be mushy, and too thin, they'll burn. Okay, so you're gonna go through all that. And then, once you get through some of those, you're gonna take a jalapeno if you want it spicy. I prefer a little bit of spice. So I'm taking a jalapeno. I like to let my jalapenos kind of wrinkle up and age a little bit because it seems to lock in a lot of the spices, makes them extra spicy. And these I cut up about the same, about 1/4 inch. You're gonna cut up one of those as well. You're gonna end up using 1 jalapeno slice for 1 eggplant slice. Now, you're gonna wanna get your egg wash and your cheese together. But before you do that, you wanna preheat your oven to 375. Okay, and that's gonna take about 10 minutes or so to preheat. So for your egg wash, you're just going to, yolk and all, you are going to put 2 eggs in 1 bowl. Okay, and then you're gonna take a little bit of milk. I prefer the almond milk. I think it gives a little bit of a nutty flavor. And you're just gonna pour a little bit in there, enough to, when you mix it together with your fork, it becomes frothy. And I'll show you that. This eggplant is, been making it for years. So this is about what it's gonna look like. It has little bubbles in it and it's frothy. Okay, you're gonna slide that out of the way. And then you are going to take 3 cheeses of your choice. Throughout the years, my personal favorite and I'm going to love is a mixture of Parmesan, Pepperjack, and then some Mozzarella. It seems to stick a lot better to the eggplant, and it doesn't seem to burn as fast either. I just take about a handful of each. A little bit of mozzarella. And then I take some black pepper and sprinkle that on top of the cheeses. And then I toss it, just like you would a salad, just to kind of mix up the cheeses so they're evenly dispersed onto the eggplant slices. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to cutting up this eggplant and this jalapeno and get those all cut up and get right back to you. All right, so I have all the eggplant cut up in about 1/4 inch slices, same as the jalapenos. Some of the larger slices, you might want to cut in half. They seem to cook a lot more even that way, and all the crispiness kind of spreads evenly. Now you got to get a pan. So generally when I'm making eggplant, I usually use 2 eggplants to make a larger batch, because we like it just that much. But I take my olive oil cooking spray, and evenly put it on the pan there. You don't want it to stick. That's probably the worst. Now, what you're going to take is, start with 1 piece of eggplant. You're going to put it in the egg wash first, just double-sided. Then you are going to take it in your cheese, dab it in there. Now, sometimes the cheese does not want to stick very well, and then you're just going to want to use your fingers and kind of press it into the eggplant. You're going to do this with all of them. And it should fill at least 1 pan, if not 2. It just depends on the size of your eggplant. Now, picking the perfect eggplant, preferably, I tend to want nothing that is too stubby or too thick. It just seems to, a more even eggplant would probably be best suited, because then all your slices kind of turn out the same, kind of like chips. So you're going to take all of them, and I'm going to continue this, and I'm going to show you what I do with the jalapenos. I just take 1 little piece and put it right in the center. Like I said, you don't have to use jalapenos if you don't like it, any kind of spiciness, and you can switch up the cheeses you use. Some people prefer cheddar or Swiss, mixture of mozzarella, all that stuff. So it just depends on what your personal preference is. Mine, after all the years of making it and kind of trying different cheeses, the Pepperjack, the mozzarella, and the Parmesan seems to be the perfect mix for me. It cooks evenly and it tastes amazing, and it just crisps really, really well and doesn't seem to stick to the pan that way. They just work really well together. Now cheeses, different cheeses are softer than others. Some are more of a bitter taste. So yet again, it's just what your personal preference is. So I'm going to fill this whole pan here with all the eggplant slices, top them with the jalapenos, and I'll pick right back. All right, our oven is preheated to 375. I have all the eggplant slices right here with the jalapenos on the top. I did have some leftovers, but the good thing about that is if you don't want to make two servings, two pans full of eggplant, you can just bag that up and put it in the refrigerator. It will get a little bit brown, just like an apple does, but it's still really good to use for baking. So I'm going to put this in the oven for 15 minutes on one side, and then I'll come back to see you. Okay, so while I'm cleaning up, it doesn't take too long while the eggplant's cooking or baking. I always have a snack. For some reason, when I'm cooking or baking, I'm always munching on little snacks while I'm preparing the real big meal. So this right here is a keto peanut butter bar, and it tastes very similar to a Reese's cup. And this will be another recipe for another day. So be sure to subscribe and comment below if you would love to see this recipe. All right, it's been about 15 minutes. Time to get the eggplant out. You can smell it through the house. So this is what it's gonna look like. It takes about 15 minutes and it gets a light golden brown on the top. Now it might stick a little bit, which is the reason why we put the 2 coats of olive oil spray on there. What you're gonna do is you are going to flip them. Now the cheese all melts together, so they kind of clump together almost like chips. See if they break apart. And I'll show you this once I flip them all over. There we go. And they smell so good. If you've ever had a cheese crisp before, this is like a cheese crisp, but you're adding a little bit more nutrition with the jalapeno and the eggplant, and it's just delicious. There we go. So all jalapenos are now facing down, and this is what it's gonna look like, just like so. And now you're gonna put this back in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes. You'll smell it, you'll smell the cheese, and it will be a little bit of a darker brown. So I'm gonna go do that. 15 minutes. It smells like the eggplant is officially done. So let's get it out of the oven. Oh my. Boy, does this smell delicious. So let me put it on a plate here for you. This is exciting. You hear that crunch? This is one of my favorite recipes for eggplant. We do have more recipes coming for eggplant, so be sure to subscribe, comment below as well if you make it. Let me know how you like it. So you can see how crunchy the edges are. There's our little crisped up jalapenos on there. Oh, this is gonna be delicious. Now you can refrigerate this after you make it, and you can, it's typically about 4 to 5 days. It holds in the refrigerator for. You can eat it cool on a cracker. You can eat it nice and warm. You can even make a nice tomato sauce to dip it in if you'd like to. Be sure to subscribe and comment below for more recipes.